Next to me is the Porsche Panamera Turbo S e-hybrid Sport Turismo. Its name is a mouthful, and so is its performance. It's essentially a Porsche 918 with 4 doors. It's perhaps the most ridiculous sedan Porsche has ever created, maybe the most beautiful as well. So here are 10 insane features of the Turbo S e-hybrid that will absolutely blow your mind. Special thanks to Rusnak Porsche in Pasadena, California for making this review possible. It's a great group of people, an incredible inventory of Porsches, including Turbo S e-hybrids. I've got a link in the description below to their website so you can find out more about this car as well as the rest of the cars in their inventory. First up is the Panamera's powertrain. Under the hood of this gorgeous sedan sits a 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 that by itself produces 550 horsepower. But that's only the beginning of the story. Sandwiched between this gorgeous engine, I love the way it looks, especially with these lime green accents letting you know it is a hybrid, and the PDK gearbox is an electric motor. That electric motor adds an extra 136 horsepower. Some trickery is involved in combining the horsepower from the electric motor and the internal combustion engine, but all told, we've got 680 horsepower and 626 pound-feet of torque, all of which is available at just 1,400 RPM. 680 horsepower. That's 63 more than the BMW M5 competition and 77 more than the E63S AMG. Next up are the brakes. They come standard as carbon ceramic units, which seems fair for a vehicle that starts life at $190,000. But in a land of 6-piston front brakes being the benchmark of sporty front brakes, Porsche said that simply won't do, and decided to equip the Panamera Turbo S e-hybrid with 10 piston front calibers. That's right, 10. Why? Well, for one, it weighs 700 pounds more than the non-hybrid version of the Panamera Turbo, and two, it's simply awesome. Not only are the brakes incredibly effective at slowing down the rather heavy 5,200 pound sedan, they also have brake regeneration. As the car slows down, the brakes are able to recuperate some lost energy and feed that back into the battery for extended electric range. The Sport Turismo is actually incredibly practical. Now, hear me out. That's not usually a word you'd associate with something that has 680 horsepower and the performance and driving capabilities of the Sport Turismo, but check this out. It's all-wheel drive, meaning you can use it in inclement weather. You can take it up to the ski slopes. You can go mountain biking with it, take it golfing, because it's got a tremendous amount of rear storage space. Open up the hatch of this sedan wagon hybrid combo to reveal 49 cubic inches of rear storage space with the seats folded down. For reference, the BMW M5 competition has 18.7 cubic feet of rear storage. The E63 has 13.1 cubic feet of rear storage. 49. That's enough for 4 sets of golf clubs to go golfing with friends, multiple mountain bikes, multiple road bikes. You could, of course, put a roof rack on top too to make it even more practical. You can really do anything with the Sport Turismo, and that's what makes it so awesome. It's not just a luxurious sedan that's fun to drive. You can actually utilize it, and the rear deck lid is such that you can actually sit on it in the middle of nature, enjoy the view, have a picnic, and then hop back into the car and drive it like you stole it. When you fire up the Panamera Turbo S e-hybrid for the first time, you'll notice it doesn't make a sound at all. That's because it starts up in full EV mode. In fact, this vehicle is actually capable of being driven up to 31 miles only using the electric motor, just like the Porsche 918. It's actually a little bit disconcerting given the fact that you know this car has 680 horsepower, that it doesn't make any exhaust note whatsoever when you fire it up. But it's great for city driving or sneaking out of the garage late at night or early in the morning without disrupting your neighbors or significant others. Let's see what it's like to drive in pure electric mode. It is absolutely dead silent in the cabin, and unlike the Tesla Model S, Model 3, and a Prius, because this is a true luxury car, there's so much sound deadening from tire noise as well as wind noise this might actually be the quietest driving experience of any car. It is seriously serene. And as long as you don't give the car too much throttle, it maintains this EV mode for the next 31 or so miles. Now, there are various versions of EV mode that you can choose from, which brings me to the next insane feature of the Porsche Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid, and that is the plethora of driving modes. Normally, we're used to, in a sports sedan such as this, having a normal mode, perhaps a comfort mode, and then sport and sport plus mode. But there are a series of extra modes because this is, in fact, a hybrid. We have e-power mode, that is the full electric mode that I just talked about, where you've got that 31 miles of range and you can cruise in utter silence. Then we have what's called hybrid auto mode. Hybrid auto mode gets the most efficient combination of the electric motor as well as the internal combustion engine for maximum fuel economy to save up that juice in case you want to go into full electric mode, as well as for optimal performance. This is what the majority of owners are likely to be in for most of the time. Additionally, there is e-hold mode. This doesn't use the electric motor or drain the battery whatsoever. It purely uses the internal combustion engine so you can save electricity for the moments you need it, like driving around town in the city, or if you just want an extra silent driving experience. Although I will say, given the fact how isolated this cabin truly is, even with that gasoline engine turned on, and given the fact that it's a 4-liter twin turbocharged V8, it is silent in here when you need it to be. But there is a sports exhaust button to open up the flaps and make it sound a heck of a lot better. Then there is e-charge mode, which uses that 4-liter twin turbocharged V8 in overdrive more so than it would normally in order to recharge the battery for electric driving. Then, of course, we've got sport mode. The second we put it into sport mode, you hear that exhaust liven up, and of course, the most fun, Sport Plus. But when we're in Sport Plus mode, that's where all the fun is. Oh my gosh. Woo! Next up is one of my favorite buttons in the entire car, and that is the push to pass button. In the middle of that turn dial for the different driving modes of e-hold, sport, and sport plus is a little button. So let's say we are in full e-power mode, so cruising along nice and slow, and electric mode and quiet and comfort, and all of a sudden we realize we need to pass or make an aggressive driving maneuver. Well, if you click this button in the center of the turn dial, it actually gives you full kill mode for the next 20 seconds. It downshifts the transmission into the optimal gear for acceleration, it spools up the turbos, as well as preps the electric motor and battery for full-fledged acceleration. Click the button, the exhaust livens up, it says sport response on the steering wheel, and off we go. It reminds me of something out of a Need for Speed movie. I haven't seen this in any other car, but it is a welcomed button and a heck of a lot of fun, especially because sometimes you don't necessarily want to go from electric mode into Sport Plus for more than a certain period of time. As you can see now, it's gone back into e-power mode and it's quiet as ever. Next up is the acceleration, which is mind-alteringly quick. Remember, this is a luxurious sports sedan wagon and not a hypercar, but given the fact that it is a Porsche, it has to be fast. And in typical Porsche turbo model fashion, its all-wheel drive launch is unbelievable. Now, Porsche claims with the Sport Chrono package equipped, it's capable of doing 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds using launch control. Now, that being said, Porsche is almost always conservative with their numbers, and I expect it to be able to do a sub 3-second 0 to 60 time, which is unbelievable for a 5,300-pound sedan. We're gonna test that out, however. One thing that I figured out that I quite like about the mode select dial is you don't actually have to go all the way around to get to Sport Plus mode. Often cars, you have to toggle through again and again and again to get to the end, and then push forward a bunch to get back into comfort mode. This actually goes all the way around. You can turn it clockwise, and you can also turn it counterclockwise to go straight from EV power into Sport Plus mode. Now, in order to activate launch control, it's one of the simplest of any car. You don't have to turn off traction control, you don't have to click a launch button. Simply put it into Sport Plus mode, plant your foot firmly on the brake, plant your right foot firmly on the gas. It revs up to 5,000, yes, 5,000 RPMs, and takes off like a slingshot. Let's go. Wow, wow. Whoa, that 0 to 30 mile per hour pull was unbelievable. That actually might have been one of the quickest 0 to 30s I've ever done. After that, still blisteringly fast. But that initial hit with the low end torque of the electric motor, wow. Incredible amount of grip too. No wheel spin, no drama, just boom, like a slingshot. I have no doubt this is capable of hitting 60 in under 3 seconds. Then the acceleration after the launch is of course impressive as well. Oh my gosh, the mid-range pull in this is unbelievable. It just keeps on going. Passing power, passing isn't a problem in the Porsche Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid. Wow. That launch was unbelievable. The next insane feature of the Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid is the transmission. Now, we're used to brilliant transmissions in Porsches with the 7-speed PDK unit. But in the Panamera, we've got an 8-speed unit. In fact, 7th and 8th gear are purely designed just for high-speed cruising on the highway for better fuel efficiency. It hits its top speed in 6th gear. As you'd expect, the shifts are blisteringly fast. You have a little bit tighter gear ratios, especially that first to second shift, so you get to play with the paddles a little bit more. On this car, we've got steering wheel mounted paddles at 9 and 3 in the perfect position. The actuation feels fantastic. They're nice and metal. Oh, nice to the touch and instantaneous response. Downshifts are lightning fast, same with upshifts. It's just a blast to drive with the PDK. Next up is the interior. Not only does the performance match the price tag of over $190,000, this one optioned up is actually $217 grand, but the interior quality matches that price tag as well. The fit and finish, the choice of materials is absolutely exquisite. The steering wheel feels great in your hand with this gorgeous wood on the top and bottom, but leather right where you place your hands. You've got nice steering wheel controls, but what I notice is every single button, no matter what it is, its level of importance feels nice when you click it, particularly this area here. In generations of the past, the Panamera was kind of a overly clustered array of buttons in the center console. Well, now we have this beautiful glass display with digital buttons underneath that are touch sensitive. They give you this little vibration haptic feedback to let you know that you've clicked it. Put it into comfort mode for the suspension. Just sounds nice to click. Traction control off button. We've got all of the climate controls, these beautiful knurled metal switches for the climate control that feel nice. An array of buttons above that from anything from media, climate, hybrid, apps, phone, as well as your navigation. Now, speaking of navigation, we've got this gorgeous 12.3-inch digital touchscreen in the center dash area that flows seamlessly with the rest of the cabin. This is seriously one of the nicest sedan interiors ever, no matter what the price tag, including the Bentley Continental and the Rolls-Royce Ghost. The graphics are very impressive. The responsiveness of the infotainment is very, very quick. I love the display, honestly, when you choose the different modes between hybrid, sport, sport plus, and individual, and it's also really intuitive to use, as are the climate controls. Then we've got the instrument cluster. It actually looks like it's out of the Porsche 918. In the center, we've got an analog tachometer with a beautiful lime green dial. Just looks so cool. Below that, we've got an e-power meter as well as charge to let you know when you're not being very fuel efficient and let you know when you're regenerating energy. Then to the left and right of that, we've got digital displays flanking on either side, giving you your speed as well as temperature and all the information you could possibly need. In the back, you can opt for rear view entertainment if your rear passengers are a little bit needy. 10-inch displays come there on the seat backs. We've also got a little console down there to control the climate, the radio, as well as navigation. Now, if you don't get the Sport Turismo model, you get the normal Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid, you can opt for the Executive package, which gives you an extra 5.9 inches of rear legroom if you need extra legroom. In my opinion, it's got plenty. Overall, the interior is such a nice place to be. It's quiet, it's refined, the leather is sumptuous, and they did a killer job with the Panameras inside. Now, the last crazy feature of the Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid was going to be the awesome actuation of the rear wing. When you click a button, it pops up and extends out like a transformer. The only difference is this is the Sport Turismo model and it doesn't have the same wing. This wing is actually mounted up on the roof, and at the click of a button, it folds up like a normal wing. Instead, I'm going to talk about the interior climate control because it has some of the most advanced and in-depth controls as well as strange names that I've ever seen on a vehicle. First off is the central air vent. There's a central air vent right below the 12.3-inch screen, and when the AC is off, you actually don't even notice that it's a vent. It folds down in this cool fashion and is this piano black trim that blends into the interior seamlessly. You don't even know it's a vent until you click the button to turn it on. Now, if we go to the vent controls itself, you've got options between, do you want focused air or do you want diffused air? And then the only other car I've seen with this level of control and customization that's touchscreen for the climate control is the Tesla Model 3. You can actually drag your finger on the screen in order to point the air in the direction you want it to flow. Then lastly, you can go into the comfort setting and choose what style of air you would like. Not how much air you would like, what style. And the style options range from soft, would you like soft air blowing on you, medium, and strong. So not low and high, soft, medium, and strong. Pretty funny. Then, of course, you can also click the timer button and cool down the vehicle when you're outside of it so that when you come in from the office after a hot day, it's perfectly cooled to the temperature you like. Well, there you have it. I could go on and on and on about plenty more insane features of the Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid Sport Turismo, but I wanted to highlight 10 of them for you to keep this video a little bit more concise. Once again, special thanks to Rusnak Porsche of Pasadena, California for making this video possible. I've got a link in the description to their website. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.